Hello everyone. Welcome back. It's been a while, but it is now 2020, January 19, and this is another Novusphere community update. We're back again. We want to make a public announcement with regards leading up to the launch of Discussions 2.0, and we're gonna have a lot more of these public meetings more regularly. But we'll get into that in just a bit. We are gonna make a few announcements, specifically with regards to what's the direction discussions heading, the ATMOS token, and our exchange situation. And Brian actually will go first since he has to leave in 10 minutes. He's gonna update us on the Kucoin situation. So Brian, do you wanna take it away?
Yep. So for the last couple of months, we've been applying to Kucoin and following what they required from us. So we'll be submitting applications and everything. And I thought everything was going well up until the year 2020, the start of the new year. At the start of the new year, they increased their regulations and their requirements and made it much more difficult for new tokens to be listed on their exchange. So for example, for the ATMOS token, they were looking for a $1 million valuation at the minimum, and they were expecting 100,000 US dollars worth of transactions every month, which is a little beyond what we could meet. So we couldn't meet their requirements. So instead of continuing with Kucoin, who had like a lower listing fee, we're going to apply to something a little more, I guess you can call it ambitious. We're going to go with Bittrex Global. So we're beginning our application with Bittrex Global right now, and we'll see where that leads us in the future.
Yeah, I just want to add that so the Kucoin situation, like Brian said, that we were pretty certain that we got it, pat down, but again, we fit the requirements back in 2019 without any notice. Once 2020 came around, they made this announcement about a new requirement, which unfortunately we're unable to satisfy. So, but like Brian said, we haven't given up on getting ATMOS on larger exchanges, especially exchanges with BTC pairs. Bittrex Global being just one of them. We are looking at other ones and applying to other ones, but that's the direction for the exchanges for now.
Yeah, we have. I'll just add to that. Another goal is so that we can be listed on the Atomic wallet, which they use 5 exchanges for their price point. Bittrex is one of them, but there's several others. So we're looking into getting ourselves listed through one of those other lesser, kind of established exchanges, and that may be another option to get us onto the Atomic wallet, which if people aren't familiar with that, it's sort of an interesting project. Enables atomic swaps. You can trade via your phone, and so that's another spot for us to that we've been working towards. But nothing has been pushed as far as long as we had with Kucoin. So it's a little unfortunate because we were pretty confident that we would be listing at the same time we were launching Discussions 2.0, but it looks like there'll be a bit of a delay there.
Yep. Speaking of launching of Discussions 2.0, we have a launch date. It's January 27th, so it is exactly 2 weeks from now, and we are planning a lot of events around it, starting with a video interview by me with Corey of Shipple tomorrow, and then obviously we're gonna have a social media advertising campaign. We're gonna send out newsletters to the list of emails that we built up, which is currently at 1,400 or 1,600. It's somewhere around there. We're gonna have a big Twitter push, asking people to raise awareness about the launch of Discussions 2.0. So there's gonna be a lot more. We're gonna be putting ourselves out there a lot more. Leading up to the launch and after the launch, we're going to have video interview with our partners. And I want to go into detail a little bit, at least, of why we are partnering up with launch partners and what that partnership means. So with Discussions 2.0, one of the key features that we rolled out is what we call the Unified ID. It basically brings the Bitcoin user experience to EOS in that you only need a public-private key pair to post on the forum and to receive and transfer tokens on the Discussions platform. So this is a huge departure from the EOS model, which requires an account. And getting an EOS account is not the easiest thing in the world, and that's always been a pain point for EOS in terms of user adoption. So we roll out this key feature that we think is going to help encourage adoption not only of EOS, but it's going to help us bring on more ATMOS token holders and more token holders for our partners. In terms of partnership, we have 5 launch partners in mind. Of those, 2 have details that I could announce right now, and that is Blockbase and MPT. So Blockbase is a EU-funded token project, a privacy database project, and they're going to be integrating our Unified ID solution into their ambassador program that we are building together. So what this is for it's going to be a function within discussions that allows users to become ambassadors for other token projects, using social media platforms. So, if you put out a tweet mentioning a Blockbase, through Unified ID, you're able to participate in that ambassador program and receive your tokens with Unified ID. So that's one partnership and integration detail. And the second one is MPT. MPT is a project out of the Netherlands. They're building physical machines that takes metal cans, and in exchange for taking a metal can, they will send you MPT tokens. So we're gonna have a trial program where they integrate our Unified ID, and the payout is done to the Unified ID to MPT, to users of MPT metal packaging token machines. So that they have a very long name. The reason why we're doing this is to gain adoption, and we want to make this a standard among our partners, but also it's going to be great for ATMOS token holders, because every transaction that is done with Unified ID has a fee associated with it, and that fee that generates revenue for discussions, which is we haven't decided exactly what to do with that revenue, but obviously we have in mind to benefit ATMOS token holders. But yeah, that's a discussion we're having internally, and now we want to invite you to participate that discussion with us as to what to do with that revenue. Continuing on the development on ATMOS token, proof of stake will be coming soon. Asphyxia has given us a date of late February, early March, and that will be the first iteration of proof of stake. There will be a few iterations, starting with a very simple one where you just lock up your tokens, and then you receive ATMOS token rewards to our final goal, which is for someone to stake ATMOS and run ATMOS DB to become a node of ATMOS DB in the ATMOS network, to make sure that discussions decentralize, that the ATMOS token survives beyond EOS and beyond just a singular blockchain. And that leads me to what we have planned for discussions. So for discussions, we're launching 2.0 right now, which is to revamp of our user interface and our backend code to make it a much more refined product that is usable for the mass audience. We have more things planned, starting with 2.5, and that's going to be a multi-chain launch. So what we're looking to do is to deploy the discussions in ATMOS token contract, not just on EOS, but starting with EOS sister chains. So that's TLOS, that is WAX, and other sister chains of EOS, and eventually on other blockchains with much different technology like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, and maybe even other blockchains like Tron. We don't know, we will see. But the idea is that ATMOS will not depend on a single major blockchain. It will be distributed, and make sure that it gives us redundancy that of the benefit of having on those other blockchains. And again, after that, we're gonna have discussions 3, which is focused on adding value to the ATMOS token. And in discussions 3, we're gonna focus on advertising on the discussions.app website. as well as providing analytics for our projects that want to advertise on that platform. So that's our roadmap for now. We're gonna have a text of the roadmap released this week, and we're working on a version with graphics that is met that for PR purposes. And discussions is not the only product we have lined up for ATMOS. Is one of the first products that we have in mind for the ATMOS platform, but we are tinkering with other ideas and other products that we want to bring on and add value to the ATMOS token. So look forward to that when we are ready to announce them. So I've been speaking a lot. Team, do you guys have anything to add, perhaps? No? Okay. Okay. So Asphyxia is with us. He just mentioned he's unable to speak, but he says he has nothing to add. And Paul?
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well. I will say that when talking about returning value to ATMOS token holders, we have a couple key ways we're going to be doing that. One of the things we talked about is obviously rewards for staking. So that's one way that holders are going to be able to increase their ATMOS holdings. The other methods are a little more indirect, but they ultimately result in the same conclusion. So we've talked about using the revenue we get to provide buy support on the ATMOS order book, and then the ATMOS we purchase, putting that through a burn process so that we reduce the overall supply. So those are the kind of the two major things to be thinking about in terms of what we're heading towards, and where we see a consistent revenue stream that we can build, even in sort of a very small fees for these transactions, but they're going to add up over a period of time. And if we can get consistency and more and more partnerships, this could lead to a very consistent burn rate for the ATMOS token. So that's something I think token holders should be looking forward to as we roll those concepts out, and we bring on more partners who are going to be using Unified ID for their users, and we'll be getting revenue coming in, these small fees for Unified ID transactions.
Yep. Okay, so I think that's everything. We are gonna resume these Sunday public meetings now. Again, we want to keep you guys informed. We've been heads down building stuff, but it looks like the market is looking up. People are paying slightly more attention to cryptocurrency, and our product's ready, and so we think it's the right time to kind of what's the phrase, come out of the cave, I guess, and like Tony Stark with our Iron Man suits, and show you guys what we've been building in the dark. So look forward to that. Okay, with that, sorry.
Maybe reiterate the launch date. You can cut this part out of the recording, but maybe reiterate the launch date before you close. And,
yep. Yeah, so the launch date is going to be January 27th. That is a week from now. I think I said 2 weeks by accident, but that's going to be next week. Yeah, so January 27th is going to be on a Monday. We're going to be doing video interviews. We're going to have activities on Discussions.app, kind of introducing our partners, describing their projects, and letting you guys know what their project is, because now by holding ATMOS tokens and do this partnership, you guys would be gaining transaction fees from these projects. So you guys are indirect token holders of these projects. So yeah, I think the silence means it's time to sign off. What do you say, Paul?
Yeah, sounds good. Looking forward to a week from now getting this project relaunched as 2.0, and looking forward to everyone's feedback on a lot of the new features we've rolled out.
Yep. Okay, with that, I'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Take care, everyone.